Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to a new video this morning. It's going to be a hot one here in Kansas City. Who am I kidding? It's already a hot one in Kansas City. It's about 85 degrees already, on its way to 100 this morning. Well, by the afternoon. So, sounds like a lot of fun today for me. How's everybody doing out there? Doing quite well here. All right, I had one of my subscribers, JD, recommend a couple weeks ago that he'd like to see something on riding safety. And that is, very important to most of us. Almost everybody, thinks about it and watches videos on it. And I thought it was something, that might just be a great thing for us to touch on today. So let's have that conversation. All right, let's see. I am coming up on my 1 year of riding this summer. So I am far from an expert. I'm not a motorcycle expert. I'm not a scooter expert. I am just a regular guy that I love to learn, and I love to try to get the best I can at what I do and the things that I can get out of it. So, like you guys, I've probably watched, dozens of videos on safety, and the things over the last year that I've come, that have come to my mind. And this is something, this is not going to be a definitive list here of what's the best, ways to be safe. This is just the things that come to my mind when I'm riding and the things that I do to prepare. I'd love to have you guys' suggestions, and there's a lot of what I would consider riding experts that watch this channel, and I would love to have lots of comments down there discussing what are the best principles and just the best things to keep in mind, the best practices. So let's talk about those. I probably would start off with, I know last week I had a subscriber tell me that I had my tire inflated to the wrong percentage, and that leads me to the first thing that I think of is don't assume that your dealer knows what tire pressure to put on your tires. It's kind of a shame, but that's the truth. I had a dealer have my tire underinflated by 30% for the last year of riding, and it was because of a dealer recommendation. So I even read the manual and I noticed it. So I overlooked it. So that's one thing I'd start off with is, make sure your bike's specs and preparations are in line with what's in the manual. And, also, always be open to listen to people when they're telling you something about your own bike. So that's what I would take as number one for me. And number two for me has got to be wear safety gear. I saw a guy yesterday headed down 435 highway here in Kansas City wearing a t-shirt and shorts and no helmet. I know that's not an option for a lot of places here in the United States. People have to wear a helmet in a lot of states, but they don't have to here in Missouri. I would never even consider not wearing a helmet. That's just me. I I mean, I'd like to be cool and comfy as the next guy, but I'd really like to not have a serious head injury. So,
got a good brain.
You know, wear your helmet. I wear, you know, armored jacket and armored jeans every day. So I'd sacrifice a little bit of comfort, you know, within reason. I mean, I'd try to get, you know, the most breathable jacket I can afford, and, you know, most breathable gloves I can afford, and I wear a full face helmet because I want to protect the, you know, protect my chin from hitting the concrete. He's not gonna, you don't have to wait on me. Alright. Alright, I guess she's golfing. She's in no hurry. Thank you. Look at that beautiful golf course this morning. Wow. Man, what a day. So there we've got, you know, prepping your bike. We've got wearing safety gear. I wear boots too, by the way. I wear a motorcycle boot from Helston's that has D3O armor in the ankle and in the toe box. So that's another thing I do, and gloves. I don't think we've really talked that much about gloves, but, you know, having a good pair of gloves on, that's going to be, you know, the first or second thing that hits the ground if you go down. So gloves are probably underrated, I would say. Let's see, safe practices as far as riding goes. I would say number one for me is being prepared for what other drivers are going to do. From what I hear, most accidents on a motorcycle happen from someone turning in front of you. The driver in front of you, like that guy right there making a left-hand turn right here in front of me when I wasn't expecting it, or when he didn't see me. So I always, that's the first thing I try to do is think, what is this driver that's approaching me gonna do? Is he getting ready to signal? Is he not gonna signal at all? Is he just gonna make a mad dash for that turn? I try to make sure they see me. And that's hard to do on a motorcycle. I mean, what are you guys' tips for making sure you're seen? You know, I've been overseas, and their tip for making sure they've been seen is a lot different than what we do here in the States. Here in the States, we don't honk at people. I mean, you don't use your horn in that fashion very often. It's because, you know, people take it as a, you know, I mean, it's like a threat. You know, if you're honking at somebody, they're almost offended by that. I mean, I would say they probably are alarmed and offended.
You want a piece of me?
So that's not something we really do that much here. I've heard loud pipes save lives. You know, people that have their motorcycle and their scooter nice and loud, so people can see and, you know, hear them coming and look out for where's that coming from. So that's something that I do first is try to assume that these cars might even accidentally. So this guy's driving off the road with one of his tires already. He's trying to give me more room, probably. I don't know. He might just be eating a bag of Cheetos. But, you know, you just never know what someone else is going to do when you're riding. So I would say that's number one thing for actually the riding of the motorcycle or the bike, the scooter. Keep an eye out for incompetent drivers of cars that are not paying attention. Let's see, something else to, you know, is be safe. You know, there's no reason to ride like a maniac. You know, I know hey, I see guys, I've got a good friend of mine, she watches my video every week, and she comments a lot, but her son is a trick rider. I mean, he stands up on the seat on the back, you know, the back edge of his motorcycle seat and pops a wheelie for, you know, 200 or 300 yards. And this is a kid. He's probably he's not 15. He's probably 12 years old, and he's, you know, an expert rider at that sort of thing. He's been doing it for years. But for most of us, riding smart is going to be, you know, right at the top of the list for not getting injured. I know there's good riders out there that are, you know, popping wheelies, you know, frequently on the highway. And, you know, I don't, whatever. I mean, to each his own. But to me, that's not, you know, I mean, I'd hurt myself for sure. So that's something that I try to keep at the forefront of my mind, is ride safe. Let's see, another one that I'm trying to get better at is when you come up to a stop sign and you have a car parked right in front of you, right in the front space, right in front of you, and use the whole lane. Don't park immediately behind the car that's stopped at a stop sign or a stoplight in front of you. And you're, as a motorcycle or scooter, you pull up beside them with the front of your scooter aimed off to the side, you know, so just in case a car comes from behind you out of control, you know, you can get out of the way. Or even if you get rammed from behind, at the very least you don't get pinched in between the car behind you that's out of control and the car in front of you that's just at a stoplight. So if the car in front of you is over to the right edge of their lane, then what I'm saying is you'd be over to the left edge of your lane. So just in case that car behind you comes flying up, you at least have a, you know, a split second to either get a little bit forward and get out of the way, or if it, God forbid, if they hit you, they knock you to the left side of that vehicle in front of you instead of smashing you right between cars. I know someone that was killed that way. They were unloading luggage from their car at a hotel, and the husband was on one by the front door, and the woman, his wife, got trapped between the car that had the open trunk and a car from behind, and it just rammed her and killed her. So that's something that we definitely gotta, you know, use to take advantage of, is being off to the side at all possible chances. Looking at this road, something this reminds me of is these tar snakes right here. They're common in our area, and a lot of these, look at these road, it's covered with these black tar snakes, and that's what they do here. I don't know if they do them everywhere, but they do them as a quick fix to a road that's not getting construction anytime soon, but it fills that crack and makes it so potholes don't develop and that sort of thing. So just be aware that they're there. And I've been told, you know, keep your throttle under control, because if these are hot, they're, you know, very likely to be much more slippery than the surface that you're riding on. So try not to just run your bike right down a continuous one like I've got here in front of me, but right off to the side of it. And when they're constantly running sideways, there's not as much you can do. But I know using a nice steady throttle over the top of those, it gives me a nice even ride. There's no slipping. There's never any traction control issues on my scooter. You know, while I'm thinking about it, I gained 6 subscribers this last 4 days since my last video. I appreciate it, you guys, and welcome to the new subscribers. If you like scooter and motorcycle talk content and nice chill rides, then subscribe and like the video if you enjoy these. Hit the bell to be reminded if I put a new video on, to be notified, and I'll try to keep making, you know, fun content for you guys. And I love having a video where I talk about, you know, something that a subscriber has brought up, you know, like JD saying, hey, do something on safety. He's a new rider too, and it's something, you know, that I told him I'd do, and I'll do videos that, you know, my community wants to see. So, you know, anytime you guys have something on your mind, something you think would make a great video, you can, you know, leave it in the comments. Last video I mentioned my email address is in my bio on my YouTube page. And I had a nice gentleman, I'm not going to mention him by name because he hasn't mentioned it in the comments, so I'm not going to call him out by name, but it was really nice chat with you on an email the other day. And it was funny, he and I ironically have so much in common that you just couldn't believe. I mean, he's got, you know, he's got a health concerns, you know, I would say similar to mine. He's got an Asian wife and deals with that Asian family type stuff like I do. And let's see what else. I think he's also a business owner or early retired, semi-retired. Let's see, we had a scooter. I think we both have a new scooter. I think he's got a GTS 300 also. I think just the same, it might be even the same color as mine. Yeah, it is, except without my Chiefs logo. And let's see, what else did he say? Oh yeah, one thing that we do not have in common, I don't have a terrier. I am a cat guy. I know, cat people, you can't trust us. But I like dogs too, but I've grown up with cats, and my family always had cats when I was growing up. So there's something, there you go. I'm not gonna knock you out of your chair saying that I had a terrier like you did, but it was really a good discussing that with you the other day. And thanks for, you know, the email and introducing yourself and becoming a new subscriber. Welcome to the channel. But okay, back to safety. Let's see, what else? What do you guys think? What out there, what are the things that you really think would be beneficial to new riders as far as safety goes? I think one thing that I've noticed is, as a brand new rider, I felt like I barely had an idea what was going on behind me. Now I feel like I've gotten much better at keeping an eye on my mirrors, and that might have something to do with getting these bar-end mirrors, because I do get a better view back there. But that's something that I didn't really have that good of view with my first mirrors. But now I feel like I have a whole lot better idea of what's going on behind me, whether there's, you know, cars in both lanes behind me or that sort of thing. So that's something I feel like I've gotten better at as I've ridden more, is just being able to take a quick little glance in a mirror and realize, you know, what's going on back there. Another thing I just thought of is as you see a car approaching an intersection, right, from your right or your left, as you're getting ready to enter the intersection, or even not even an intersection, maybe you're just driving down the highway like this, but covering your brakes. And what I mean by covering your brake is just putting your fingers over the brake handle without really using it, but being ready to use it. You know, you never know when you're going to need to, but as you see a car approaching, I think that the chances of that happening go up exponentially with that happening. So I would consider that something that I've gotten better at. But I think one thing that I notice is when I've taught my daughter how to drive, when I've been teaching her how to drive, and she's going through an intersection and there's cars coming from both sides and they haven't stopped yet, I always tell her, hey, just in case, you take your foot off of the gas and instead get it covering your brake, not directly behind the car, but kind of off to the side, just in case you get rammed from the back. Go between the cars. If that car, see that car in front of me was to the left there. So my only opening to get away from getting smashed in between is here to the right, to the center of the road. But back to covering the brakes, I think I always cover the brake when I see a potential for somebody making a mistake and maybe turning in front of me or just pulling out in front of me from an intersection. So what do you guys do as experienced riders in that vein? Let's see, thinking of one with for the highway. One that I was thinking about recently is I saw two motorcycles riding right beside each other in the same lane. And I know you're not supposed to. I know you're supposed to ride staggered. And the only people that, you know, do that are police officers. I see them doing it relatively frequently. I'm not sure why they do it though. But I know you're supposed to ride staggered, like the lead motorcycle is over on this side of the lane, and then the bike right behind it is, you know, 7 to 10 bike lengths behind it on this side. And then if there's a third one, you're back 7 to 10 lengths again over on this side again of the lane. So, and that's, I think, just to give you more room to maneuver in case there's some, you know, debris in the road, or, you know, gives you a little more visibility out in front of you. You know, if you're all just right on each other's tail and riding down the same lane, I think your visibility is very short. You're not going to see a lot of the highway right in front of you. And I suppose that doesn't just go for highways. That'd go if you're driving down traffic at all. You don't want to be bunched up and right beside each other. And that also gives you a better lane of escape if an accident does happen. You know, you don't run right over the bike right in front of you. If they've had an accident, you know, you're already to the side of them somewhat, so it gives you a little bit better chance to miss them. And God forbid someone gets hit by a car, you have a little bit, you don't have someone parked right beside you that you have to swerve to try to get away from when you're trying to miss a car. So there's got to be dozens of other tips that don't come right to my mind, but you guys don't hesitate to leave them in the comments. I'd love to hear them. And I think that's a good way for us to all learn. So leave those down in the comments. Tips from experienced or expert riders. It's a gorgeous day, guys. Guys, this video's been long enough. Leave those suggestions in the comments down there about what you guys consider your most important safety tips, and anything different that I haven't mentioned, or any different twists on anything that I've said. Constructive criticism is good. It's good for us all to learn from. So put those in the comments down there. And again, if you guys like my videos, please leave a like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next video. All right, guys, I appreciate y'all watching, and I'll catch you again soon. All right, later, guys.